Hi guys, it is Ryan here from Disney Pin Love. No Laura today, although she'll probably help me with some editing and putting this together. But this is a little bit of a passion project for me, I suppose. Something that I've wanted to do for a long, long time, more than a decade probably. So this is a bit of a selfish indulgence, I suppose, and it's completely non Disney related, so I'll preface that for you. But I've been inspired by some other vlogs that we've been watching recently where, people talk about goals and they're doing trip planning and they're sort of thinking about these bucket list experiences. And I feel like I've sort of been really, really fortunate and got to do something similar myself. And I've talked about it before in passing on the channel. But when I say this is selfish, I feel like I'm doing it more for myself. I'm not sure if it'll have a lot of entertainment value for anyone else, though hopefully we're going to give this a try. But I want to look back at some of my travel pictures and do a bit of a narrated slideshow. So it'll be a nice trip down memory lane, for, for me at least, and just something that'll help me preserve these memories because it's been a while, so things are starting to slip. Anyways, I'm just looking down at some notes because I want to keep this as crisp as possible. But this is going to be, again, sort of a look back on this really wonderful, to use a cliche, life changing experience that I got to have, something that really broadened my horizons and that I'm so thankful for. So, this is going to be a narrated slideshow. And this is an experience that I got to have through, my work at the time. So just to orient you and give you a bit of context, this goes back to a trip that I got to take for work, and I left on May 15th, 2009, and returned in October. So I was gone for about 5 or 6 months there, and it was exactly 1 week to the day after I turned 22 years old that I was leaving, and it was like 2 weeks after I had finished my last university exam. As far as the job, it was something that I was doing part-time throughout university. I started in my second year, and then once I was done school, I started doing it full-time. So yeah, this all sort of coincided with me finishing school, switching to full time, and just freshly turning 22, I suppose. So on this trip, I was sent to Manila, which is the capital of the Philippines. It was to do some training and business analysis work at an office we had over there. I was there, like I said, for the 5 months time, and I really tried to make the most of it. So I also got to do some other travel in the region while I was there. On 2 separate long weekends, I went to, Thailand, I went to Vietnam, and then in the middle of my time away, I spent about a week and a half in Japan. So I want to make this a 4-part series where I focus on the Philippines first, and then, a video each for Thailand, Vietnam, and Japan. So the only thing I'll say before I get started is just sorry for all of the things that I'm going to mispronounce. Okay, hi guys. Welcome back. You are brave to be here again, indulging me again. So today we are going to take a look at my time in Thailand. So it was about 3 days centered around Bangkok. For context and reference, I did this in early August 2009. So I departed for Manila in May, the middle of May, and this is my first time leaving the Philippines. So I caught a Cebu Pacific flight out of Manila, and that is sort of their version of Spirit Airlines, if you will. And the beautiful thing about that, though, is the flight time from Manila to Bangkok is about 2.5 hours. So it's a decently long flight. That's like me flying from Toronto to Orlando. But it cost round trip, taxes and everything, all in, it was like under $80 Canadian, which was amazing. So this is my very first picture from Bangkok. I must have taken a water taxi to the Grand Palace, it looks like. I love this sign. I love the bottom line. It says, "Do not trust wily strangers." Yeah, we don't use Wiley too much. The reason for that, though, if you do your research, it's just sometimes people will see somebody walking towards the Grand Palace and they may try to sort of scam them and say, the Grand Palace is closed today at some special religious ceremony. How about you come on my tour? Just be polite, smile, but say no thank you and just keep walking. So here we are inside the Grand Palace. I got there nice and early in the morning, and isn't it something? And it just keeps going on and on like this. So the ornamentation, the detail, the ornateness. I'm going to say ornate a lot probably during these clips, but just look at it. It was, again, to use a cliche, pictures don't do it justice. It is absolutely stunning, immaculately maintained, and the pictures don't do it justice. Like the scale of this golden stupta, you can see some people in the foreground. It was huge. I love just this different architecture. This was so unlike anything I had ever seen or experienced in person in my life to this point. So to be there in person and getting to take it all in, it was just a surreal kind of experience for me. So again, the beautiful golden stupta, and just absolutely immaculate. Like the amount of detail in the architecture. Look at those like snake-like handrails, all sort of gold encrusted. And if you zoom in on this picture, it's that's not tile. Like each one of those little squares is an individual piece, and there's just building and building like this. Look at the ceiling even. Looks like that must have been some sort of scale model, I imagine. And wow, that fellow looks to be on guard, I would say. There's a Buddha image. And those guys have quite the facial expressions. Whoa, this is heavy, man. So there's me in socks. And this is because there is an actual functioning Wat or temple inside the Grand Palace. And in doing my research, I know Buddhist custom, if you're going to be sort of in a temple, customary to remove your shoes. Also, never to direct your feet or point your feet in the direction of a Buddha image. And also important to dress modestly, so that's legs covered for everyone. Here are some people there for prayer. They've lit incense in some cases, and that really just added to the ambiance to have that smell in the air. So I did really try to trim down the images as much as possible, hoping to not bore you too much, but it was a struggle with this section because it was a feast for the eyes. There's so much to see. This is a governmental building. The roof line, the architecture, the gold, it's just amazing to me. And the shrubs are really cool too. Look how nicely they're sort of shaped. This one really shows what I mean just about the roof and sort of that different architectural style, very famous for Thailand and a few other countries in Asia. And I think I am heading out, yes. So here is a tuk-tuk, look at that. And this is where I stayed while in Thailand. This is the Biman or Biman Inn. I'm not sure if it's there any longer, but it was a solid stay. No closet, but I did have a mini fridge. So yes, clearly I am out of my 5-star lavish lifestyle at the Shangri-La in Manila. This was like a little side vacation of my own doing, so this is on my own dime. So this is, this was very much my level at the time and sort of shows how spoiled I was in Manila. But this hotel was, I think, $15 or $16 American per night. It was safe. It was beautiful, like spotlessly clean. Had a plunge pool even. You got free breakfast every day and had access to the internet. So what more could you ask for? This is another very famous temple in Bangkok. This is the Temple of the Reclining Buddha, and you'll see why. It's also a functioning temple, so there were monks on site in their saffron robes, and it was again just one of those once in a lifetime kind of things to be able to witness that in person. I don't have any pictures. It didn't feel right to take pictures of that, so I just didn't do it. Some more golden Buddha images. And again, these spires or stupas are just remarkable. So this is the reclining Buddha image. Again, pictures don't do it justice. They don't show the scale. But it is, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, about 50 meters or 50 meters or 150 feet long. Speaking of feet, those feet are about 3 meters or 9 feet tall, and there's all sorts of panels on the sole of the feet depicting different images, and that was all like hand done, very ornate with mother of pearl. So you'll see you can make offerings. I assume it would be for good fortune or good luck. You could drop a coin in one of those bowls the whole length of the reclining Buddha, and that would have went to support the temple and the monks. This is the back view, so again, just how ornate and pristine it is. So I took another water taxi to the Temple of Dawn, or Wat Arun. I took this picture just because, again, it shows the sort of need to be modest in these religious sites. So again, I not going to skirt the rules, pun intended, I guess. I just wanted to to follow the rules and be respectful of local customs. So this is a very famous temple in Bangkok. If you Google image search Bangkok, you're bound to see Wat Arun, or the Temple of Dawn. And hey, there's a picture of me. I didn't take a lot of pictures this trip. I was out in Bangkok solo on my own, so I'm more taking pictures of stuff and not so much myself. But this shows that you could climb, so I climbed as high as you were allowed to climb, and it shows too how tall and shallow those steps are, so you really had to be careful. It was it was something, especially in that heat. I'll pause for a moment on this picture. This just happens to be one of the best pictures I've ever taken in my life, I think. I definitely got lucky. Like, I don't have that skill as a photographer, but it just lined up, and this remains one of my favorite snaps of all time, and it just looks fake almost in a way, but what a shot. So just a few more pictures from around Wat Arun. Wow. So then I took a cab, and they are right side drive in Bangkok, and we raced a tuk-tuk. No, we didn't, but just cool to see them out the window. So I must have ended up at a museum of some sort, and look, there's an elephant. Did you know that if you encounter an elephant on the roadway in Thailand, which is something that may happen actually, the elephants legally have the right of way. So refreshing with an iced tea, and I must have done a tour of the world's largest golden teakwood mansion. There it is. This must be dinner. So Singha, of course, had to have a local beer and some green chicken curry with rice, it looks like, and I just remember that being amazing. So I'm not a big sports guy, but one of those win in Rome kind of things, I had to check out some Muay Thai or kickboxing. You can see here that even the headline match, they are all muscle, but about 131 pounds each. It looks like was sort of the weight class. So they had live music going the entire time. Looks like that poor fellow may be knocked out actually. But this is neat. Before each match, there was a certain ceremony that happened. I assume it was sort of a religious in connotation, but it was neat to see. It was Just really, I think the reverence for the sport, for the opponent, for the ring, really the athletes showing that respect. I mean, when the bell goes, they're athletes. They are fierce, absolutely fierce, but not looking to hurt their opponent or anything like that. So I just thought it was cool to see that respect for the sport. This must be day number 2. This is another reclining Buddha image, and I am in Ayutthaya. So this is the ancient capital of Thailand, and it's about an hour and a half drive outside of Bangkok. So again, absolutely gorgeous, as you can see. It is an entire complex of temples. It's now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so it is a protected site. And like I said, not just one temple, but just a whole, vast complex of numerous temples spanning probably acres or many square miles. So it made me feel a bit like Indiana Jones, being like an archaeologist, if you will, getting to explore these beautiful and historically important ruins. I believe most of what you're seeing is like 13, 14, 1500s. Unfortunately, you're seeing some Buddhas without heads, or Buddha images without heads. There's a few pictures of those, and the reason for that is just, in the early 1900s, I think it would have gotten somebody some money, so they're probably in private collections now, which is a shame, but I respect that they didn't sort of replace them, that they just left the site as it was. So if you look at this altar in the foreground, we'll do a zoom in, and you see, wow, that's like banana leaf or palm leaf or something, and that would all be done by hand. What an art form. So just more of the temples, and like I was saying, not everything is intact, but I appreciate that, they don't want anything to get in worse condition, but they're also not, restoring things either. They're just sort of keeping it as natural and true to form and as original as possible. So again, I'm in my khakis. Bangkok is one of the hottest places on earth, but I wanted to obey the local custom, so stuck with the long pants. So here's another temple in Ayutthaya with a massive golden Buddha image in the middle and some live music, so maybe getting ready for a ceremony there. Snack time. This is like a Thai version of cotton candy, if I remember correctly. I remember it being yummy. I don't think that I partook in any of the deep fried fish skin, though. This is also very famous. You'll see this on postcards, that Buddha image in the roots of a tree. That's another, very famous temple in Ayutthaya. So we are getting to the end of the temple pictures. I'll just keep cruising through them, and I think I will be having lunch next. Just so much to see. So there's a Diet Coke, it must be. And inexplicably, there's Goofy. But hey, we have some Disney content after all, so look at that. And if you're looking for a snack on your way back to Bangkok, you can have some barbecued rat. Here is an outdoor market in Bangkok, so back to the city, and I just thought, how peculiar, a Thai gentleman playing a banjo in country western garb. So again, this is around that beautiful park just before it started to pour rain. So here I am in a subway, and I thought it was so cool that the doors between trains stayed open while the subway was in motion the entire trip, so you could walk the entire length of the train. So I'm getting to MBK, it looks like, which is a famous shopping mall. The shopping malls are enormous in Asia, in my experience. And again, I got rained out, so I saw a movie. I saw The Hangover. Look at that, the 2nd of August, 2009. One thing that I remember, super special, I felt, but before the film starts at a theater in Thailand, you stand in the theater and you observe the national anthem. So I was really happy to be a part of that. Again, I was probably bummed out about the rain, so I splurged and treated myself to a fancy dinner. Look at the size of that strip loin. I must have been at the steakhouse in the JW Marriott. This is my final day in and around Bangkok in Thailand. I decided to take a train. So this cost about 100 baht. That was probably less than $3. So here we are on the train, and just some scenery shots out the window. Why I did this, we will get to that. But you quickly leave the city, and look at that. Don't stick your head or hand too far out the window. That was so cool. Another thing that was common in Thailand is people would approach you and sometimes just want to take a picture with you or practice their English a little bit. And those were always just fun, cool little moments you could share and get to meet some local folks. That's a Singha. Couldn't help myself. Remember, I was 22. Anytime that I could buy a beer on public transit, I was going to do it. Beautiful, beautiful scenery, and yes, the importance of dental hygiene and good breath. Conductor, have your ticket ready. So, there's me being a goof. And we're about to get to an important bridge. So again, you saw lots of me having a good time with friends in Manila. Maybe this is surprising to you, but being a bit of a history buff, I did want to check out the bridge over the River Kwai. So it's World War II related history. And I know there was a historical fiction book and then a film adaptation as well. And it's the Japanese who were occupying the region at the time. They were looking to connect Bangkok and Rangoon, which was the capital of Burma. And Burma, the country, is now known as Myanmar. But a sad story with a lot of prisoners of war and forced labor to connect that railway. But the bridge over the River Kwai is, certainly an important historical monument for the Pacific Theater and that part of World War II. So there's a plaque. I can't read it. It looks like Thai script on the top and probably Japanese on the bottom, I'm guessing. And just some other vehicles from that World War II era that would have been used to construct. This is the last picture, so because I got off the train, I had to get back on a train to get myself back to Bangkok. And was this sign very helpful to me? I don't know that it was, but I did manage to get back to Bangkok and catch my flight back to Manila. So thank you so much for indulging me once again. I hope that these pictures have been somewhat fun for you to see. It has been fun for me. So like I said, thanks again for indulging me. Gonna do this next week. We will do Japan, which is one of my absolute favorites, and then we will finish off this series with Vietnam. So again, thanks so much.